everybody. Welcome in. It's from the Bleachers, broadcasting live out of the Findlay Hyundai studio here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Back at it after a crazy week last week with the Copper Rock Championship. Now that that is wrapped up, we're kind of trying to get back to normal here.
Yeah, it feels good to be back in the studio. Although last week was great for me. One of my favorite weeks of the year. You got a taste of it last week as well in the Pro-Am. You announced on Friday afternoon, you announced you were on the first tee announcing the players going out.
Mm-hmm.
How much fun was that?
Oh, that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to just chat with some of these ladies before they were getting ready to tee off and get to know some of them. Something that I told you, but for our listeners as well. So on our show on Thursday that we did from Copper Rock, we had Jody Brothers, who is one of the head executives of the Epson Tour. He was there, and Friday he was there as well. He kind of showed up a little later in the day, Thursday. Friday he was there a good chunk of the day, most of the day. And he came and he just was hanging out with me over at the first tee, watching everyone tee off.
Right.
And me and him sat and talked for about an hour or so about the tour and about Copper Rock and even just talking personal life. You know, we talked about all the different places he's lived and all the different golf-related jobs he's had in his career. It was a lot of fun.
It was, and he seemed like a really nice guy. And we saw him up close and personal when it comes to the relationship that he has with all the Epson Tour players. I mean, he stopped off during our Pro-Am. He was out on the course.
Yeah.
We were playing with Daniela Iacobelli, who we had on the show a few times. And, I mean, they just chatted like they were old friends. And so he has developed a relationship with these ladies that is pretty cool in my eyes where, you know, again, if it wasn't for them, he wouldn't have a position.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for him, you know, he kind of makes things go for them. So it's kind of a nice relationship that he has with them and what they have with him. So
yeah, well, it was kind of funny. So we finished up the first tee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was sent off. So since they were all sent off, we decided to circle back, and we had kind of left separately to go circle back to where the VIP booth was. And
right.
Anyway, so I go walking, and I mean it's a good quarter-mile walk or so from where the first tee was to where the VIP booth is, because you had to go kind of up and around, up the hill and around.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so I start walking. I only get about 20 steps down the pathway, and he comes by in his cart and he said, "You want to ride?" You know, so we hopped in and we went. But as you mentioned, on the way there, you know, we stopped every so many yards because there's a different player to stop and talk to. Hey, how's the round today? You know, as they're walking back to go get some more shots on the range, or and one of those groups was Daniela and Sarah, who, again, those two were just so much fun.
They were.
So we stopped and talked to them for a little bit. How's the round? They played really well. I know that Danielle made the cut.
They
I think
both
Sarah
made the
did
cut.
as well,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so talking to them about their rounds, they're like, yeah, really happy with today. And again, just the fact that he was so personable was great, because this is his first year doing this position.
Yeah.
Right. This is the first time that he's been here, and you can tell the difference that it makes to have someone in that leadership role that truly cares about the players. They're not in it for just a paycheck and let's just move on and we're here for the details of it all. It's like, no, there's people behind all of this.
These are all people. Yeah, absolutely.
And he puts the people first. And when you put the people first, the product ends up coming along very nicely second, right? You don't put the product first and put the people second.
Mm-hmm.
If you put the people first, the product will just happen. And that's what I liked about him. That's what I like about the Copper Rock Championship and the Epson Tour, is it's just a personable, professional sports event.
Well, and I did look at your tee sheet. You had the easiest names
Yeah, I did.
in the whole flipping tournament. I looked at that because you had mentioned that. You go, I had all pretty good names. And I'm like, come on. So I looked at the tee sheet and I'm like,
it was great.
He got so dang lucky.
In the toughest ones I had, I was just like, hey, I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. And they'd be like, it's this. And be like, oh, yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like it was. So it wasn't.
But I'll tell you what, Saturday afternoon was so dang exciting out there.
Oh, yeah.
we had three. We had Savannah Vilabi, who ended up being our champion.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny Coleman and Therese Warner all shot 15 under. So
Yeah.
we had three players in a playoff. And the format was you play the 18 hole over and over until we had a winner. Now, after the first hole, everybody parred. They went back and played it again. And it was decided on that one. I kind of thought there was going to be a third one with maybe two. I'll tell you, Jenny Coleman was sitting so pretty on her drive. She was at the end of the fairway. It would have been a perfect result. I mean, it was a perfect result for the drive. Savannah puts it on the green. Therese Warner on her drive actually hit it in the water. And I was like, okay, she's going to be out of it because you just can't do that and advance to in the playoff. She puts it in the water and, she hits her drop. So now she's dropping 2, hitting 3. She came up short. So now she's hitting par up onto there. And Savannah Vilabi had already hit on the green. So she had an easy par coming. Tough birdie, but easy par.
Yeah.
I knew she was going to 2-putt it. Jenny Coleman, she gets ready to hit. She was in the best position when it comes to all three players' drives. And I don't know what it was, whether it was nerves, I don't know what it was, but she chunked it.
Yeah.
She chunked it. It didn't make it up onto the green. And for those of you that know the 18th green at Copper Rock or even the 9th green, but they're elevated greens and you have to get it up on the hill. Well, she didn't, and it rolled back down. And I was like, okay, she gets it close on a chip. We could still have a third playoff hole.
Right.
She chunked it again. Didn't get up on the green. Goes back down to the bottom again. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Savannah is going to win this pretty easily. And she did. I thought for sure it was going to go to a third playoff hole, but it wasn't. I got to tell you, the fans, the volunteers, the staff, everybody was into this. I mean, every time a shot was made, it was either cheering and clapping or everybody simultaneously, oh! I mean, it was so much fun out there. Certainly plan on this next year because it was an absolute blast out there. And Caden's going to put up on our YouTube you
can see
can they see it right now?
Yep. I got it pulled up right now on the YouTube where you can see our winner, and we just showed the clip as well of her kind of road to the win there.
And she seemed really genuine and nice. I believe it was her husband. That's her caddy.
That's her caddy.
Uh-huh. Yep. So that's kind of a fun experience for them to share. And anyway, she will be a very good champion. And, hopefully we see her next year at Copper Rock, but really, hopefully not. Hopefully she gets into that top 10 and elevates herself into the LPGA Tour.
Who was I talking to? I think it was Daniela Iacobelli that I was talking to. I said, well, I hope to see you next year, but I hope I don't see you next year. She's like, yep, I know exactly what you mean. You know, it was like, you want to see them next year because you become friends with these people, but
these people,
these athletes,
jeez, dude,
yeah.
It just sounded weird. These people.
They're great people.
I'm just kidding.
Come on. Anyways, but just you want to see them year after year just because you get to know them, you become friends with them, but at the same time you're like, I really want you to get up to the next level. Because again, you do start to care about these athletes and you want them to be at the highest level. So
it was kind of funny as I'm watching YouTube right now as well, and you're playing those clips. I didn't realize, I didn't see it live, and when it happened, when she was being all the water bottles
doused with water,
doused with water. Well, when we were doing the trophy presentation, I was doing some photo ops with her, and I kind of put my hand behind her on her back. And I
And-
was like, oh my gosh.
And you're like, why
Was
is it?
she sweating this much? And I asked Macy, and she goes, no. She got doused with water. I'm like, okay, good.
You're like, that
Because
makes sense.
It was warm out there, but it wasn't that warm.
That's funny.
But
That's funny.
Anyways, it was fun out there. Definitely plan on that, folks, for next year. I haven't had anybody go out there that has regretted it. Other than maybe last year on Friday, people probably regretted going out there that way because the weather was absolutely horrible. But Mother Nature was very kind to us this year. She was smiling on us out there in Hurricane.
100%. And how many people would you say were there Saturdays? Like,
oh my
especially
gosh.
for the playoff, because everyone gathered around that hole.
I sent you some pictures, and you were like, "Wow, that place is packed."
I would dare say, I mean, it was quite a few hundred people.
Yeah.
Were there,
Yeah,
which is
for
big
sure.
for an event like this.
And here's the deal, too. They told us, and we talked about this last week, too, but, you know, the ladies told us, we don't get this kind of attention at other tournaments. Maybe 2 other tournaments that they get grandstands. They get fans that show up. Most of the time, they show up to a golf course and they just play golf.
Right.
I mean, they'll have a starter and that kind of thing, and they'll have, you know, Epson Tour officials there, but most of the time they don't get this type of attention. They absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Hurricane and Washington County, they come out in droves out there when it comes to volunteers. Over 400 volunteers
That's
this
amazing.
year. Over
That's
400
amazing.
volunteers.
And I know
That's how many people it takes.
Yeah.
To make this tournament go off.
And I know from talking to some of them, and you know, hats off to, you know, I don't want to necessarily pat ourselves on the back, but pat ourselves on the back, yes, but also got to give credit to the company as a whole. They talked about just the coverage, right? They're like, we don't do radio interviews, and we don't always, you know, we're not always doing these kinds of things. Every so often, sure, but they're like, but just to have like the radio show out there, everyone was like, that's so cool, that's so much fun, like that you guys are covering this as much as you are, because we do think it's fun. We enjoy it,
for
you
sure.
know? It's a good time for us, and you can tell by the amount of volunteers that do go out there that it is an enjoyable time. And hey, it's pretty telling if after last year with the horrible weather we had, we still had more people sign up to volunteer this year than we even did last year. It's like, hey, you know what? You got to take that as a win as well.
Yep. Now, if you're wondering how much Savannah Villabi took home in her pocket, she took home $34,500. Both
And that's
Jenny,
solid. That's great.
that is a pretty good week, right?
Yeah, that's a good chunk of change for a weekend of work.
Jenny Coleman and Therese Warner, they were both in the playoff as well. They both tied for second, and they both took home $18,991. Let's just call it $19,000. They both took home $19,000.
Yeah.
So
Therese, I met her when she was teeing off, and she's just the shyest person in the world. She was so quiet, very humble, because she had already had a few good days. And you know, when she was coming to tee off, I'm like, hey, you know, good luck, rooting for you. You had a great day yesterday. Let's keep it up. She's like, oh yeah, thanks. You know, like, we'll see what we can do. Just kind of quiet and shy and reserved. But then she goes out and she just balls out. You know, it's like, whoa. She just turned it on, and she's a solid golfer.
Yeah.
Solid golfer.
They all are. And, you know, that was the funny thing. After the Wednesday's Pro-Am, you know, where we had 2 Pro-Ams, Monday and Wednesday, that kind of seemed the common statement was, oh my gosh, dude, my girl is so good. She's going to win it. And I think
everyone felt that way.
Everybody felt that way about their pro, because that's just how good they are. They read the greens exceptionally well. That's what I'm thinking that I really keyed in on with Daniela Iacobelli. She was a really good a green reader, and she said that's what kind of kept her in the tournament was her putting.
Yeah.
I mean, she was dropping 21-foot bombs.
Yeah.
And so that's what kind of kept her in it. She goes, her drive wasn't really all that great. I mean, it was good enough. Her iron play wasn't great, but it was good enough. It was her putting that kept her in it, and she's a really good putter.
Oh, for sure. Well, and then you have Gigi Stoll, who won the tournament before Copper Rock and still finishes very high. Did she crack top 10?
She finished tied for 6th, and then she took home $7,605. Still not a bad weekend.
Hey, You know what? The week before, she took home about 30,000.
Yeah.
This week, you take home an extra 6.
Yeah.
You know
So
what? That's a solid job.
absolutely.
Yeah, I would take that job any day of the week. So, yeah.
For sure. So, and hey, just want to throw out this as well. This is not paid advertisement or anything, but if you're looking for and I'm going to do air quotes here for our YouTubers, interesting podcast.
Okay.
Listen to the Mini Tour Saga. Okay, the Mini Tour Saga. It is Daniela Iacobelli and Sarah White, who is also one of the pros.
Mm-hmm.
And they do their own podcast. Just FYI,
Language.
there is language. So, don't have your 12-year-old watching it, but it is very entertaining. We listened to it on the way down to Vegas yesterday. We went down to a Las Vegas Aviator game, and we listened to it, and it is entertaining.
I watched a bit of their YouTube channel.
You did?
And it's so fun.
Yeah.
Just because they're funny people.
Yeah. So, and the one that I watched, I don't know if it's the same, but they were talking about the rules and, talking pretty much directly
I did not see that one.
pretty much directly to the USGA.
Okay.
Because, they're changing the ball on the PGA Tour to try to bring people's distances back.
Okay.
They're tired of the USGA is tired of Rory McIlroy hitting at 350 yards.
Right. They want to try to take it back to 320.
But they had some really interesting points, like, these golf ball companies, Titleist, TaylorMade, all of the golf ball companies, they put millions of dollars into research and development. And now the USGA wants them to go back in time, want to not have a very good ball to where they don't spin. Everybody wants to hit the ball farther. So why is the USGA, and everybody wants to see Rory hit a 350-yard drive. That's what we want to see as fans too.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. Baseball did the same thing with the ball a couple of years ago.
You're
where
exactly right.
They were like, "Hey, let's make it so people aren't hitting as many home runs." It's like, okay, well, people want to see home runs.
But that's what we want to watch as fans. That's right.
We want home runs, and we want bombs, even if it's a double or a triple. It's like we want to see those.
Yes, exactly.
And no one's out there breaking records right now, anyways. Aaron Judge did on the new ball.
Yes.
Right. It's like, what could he have done had they not changed the ball?
Yeah.
And there's always those what ifs where it's like, why you got to change those things?
Yeah.
Because no one's out there breaking Barry Bonds' record right now. So why not at least just let them try? Give them all the tools they can to at least go for it.
Yeah. But it's called the podcast is the Mini Tour Saga. And again, that's with Daniela Iacobelli and Sarah White. And the episode that we listened to was they were just kind of talking directly to the USGA. Don't mess with the rules. Stay in your lane is kind of what they said. Stay in your lane. You do your job. We do our job. And, we're going to evolve. We're going to hit the ball farther. We're going to, we just get better as human beings.
Clubs get better.
Yeah, technology. They talked about that a little bit as well.
The clubs get better. People figure out better form, right?
Mm-hmm.
The better you get at your form and more consistent. And then, the technology side of everything, it all comes together. And if they're driving at 350, good for them.
Yeah, that's what I say.
I wish I could drive 350. I just got to get better myself.
And
right? That's what it is.
And they were talking about, instead of making the golf courses longer because of these longer hitters.
Because sometimes they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Modern golf courses are getting very long.
But they had a good point, too. They're like, you know what? Instead of making them longer, penalize them more if they do go out of bounds. Like, if they go into the rough, grow that rough out. Make them think twice about that. They don't have to really lengthen the courses. Make your fairway and then grow your rough out, 6 inches.
That'd be a deep rough.
I'm telling you what, they'll think twice about hitting that driver, though.
They're
like, you know what? This fairway runs out at 310. Maybe I should hit 3-wood just to make sure that I'm in the fairway. That's how they can actually do that. Not put another tee box, farther back than the tips that they already currently have.
Making a par 4 that's 500 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make the current conditions tougher for them. So anyway, they
I
had
like
a
that
lot.
idea.
They had a lot of very interesting points when listening to the podcast. Again,
Right.
the podcast is the mini tour saga. It is very entertaining. Yes, there is some language. I know some of my buddies that would just love listening to these two because they're very they're interesting. They're fun.
They are interesting.
And they're fun.
They are fun. They're
Yeah.
interesting.
Great
and they're fun.
personalities. Great personalities.
Absolutely. Let's take a break. More when we come back. We still got Region 10 to
Oh.
talk about. We have the NFL draft to get into. We have NBA playoffs to get into.
Goodness. We're going to talk Lakers.
Maybe not.
We are.
There's a lot to get to today, so stick around with us. It's From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show, From the Bleachers, live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Welcome back in, everybody. It's From the Bleachers here on the Fan Sports Network. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
All right, Mark, let's talk a little bit about some action back on Friday night. Region 10 was in play, and we had a couple of games. Now, here's the thing. Dixie and Snow Canyon played Thursday.
Yes,
A little early.
I never did get the reasoning why on that.
Here's the only thing that I know.
I know softball. I think softball did as well.
So softball had other games scheduled for Friday and Saturday. They went up and they played 5 games over the weekend up north.
Yeah.
So I assume it could have been something to do with that. I don't know. But anyways, so let's get into this. Let's get into some Region 10. So starting things off, Going back to the game of the week, we had Desert Hills at Pineview.
And it ended up really not being a quote-unquote game of the week. That's for sure. I mean, it was a 16-4 drubbing of the Panthers by the Thunder. I think the Thunder had Tuesday night on their mind as well. They wanted to get revenge. They probably figured and thought they shouldn't have lost that game on Tuesday. I think they took the Panthers a little bit lightly, and the Panthers made them pay. Panthers made them pay. Well, they go over to Pineview, and they really put it to the Panthers. Again, 16-4. They scored 5 in the top of the second. They scored 2 in the top of the fourth, 2 in the top of the fifth, 4 in the top of the sixth, 3 in the top of the seventh. I mean, they scored crooked numbers in every inning except for the first and third.
Yeah, you're right. There were 4 home runs.
Yeah, 4 home runs, 3 out of the park, 1 inside the park.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting, okay, so I want to talk about this with this game.
Okay.
Now, don't get riled up, but it might get you riled up. You can get riled up. I don't care.
I mean, interesting to see where this is going to go. I mean, he's throwing out the disclaimer there.
So
don't get riled up.
In that game, there were 2 calls made back-to-back.
Yeah.
That, the ruling on this, we kind of looked it up a little bit afterwards. Basically, here's what happened. There was a runner trying to steal from first to second. The ball comes past the plate. Catcher has it. The batter kind of gets in the way. He's kind of standing on home plate. They call the batter out for interference. It happens 2 times in a row, literally from one guy to the very next batter.
Yeah, it was back to back.
Now, Desert Hills was the one that was at the plate batting, Pineview out in the field. And I feel like that's one of those rules that it's a little, at least from our perspective, we were like, what is the exact rule? Because I feel like we didn't know what the exact rule was.
Oh, and
we kind of had to look it up later. So tell us what the exact ruling is for those who were maybe at that game and were like, was that a fair call or was that not a fair call? I kind of want to see what the rule book says on it.
Now, on my Instagram story, I posted a rule that I looked up that said the catcher has to make an attempt to throw. Okay. Now, that's the MLB rule. Jeff Clough, who is in the UHSAA, and he's also a D1 collegiate umpire. He knows the rules.
Okay.
He did send me this. He goes, Mark, I saw your post. That's the MLB rule. Here's the high school rule. Okay. So and he attached the actual rule.
Okay.
It says a batter's going to be out if they do these things. Leaning over home plate, that's what
they were like on
Kyler
home plate.
did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Kyler Terry did. He swung at an outside pitch, and his momentum kind of took him over the plate.
Took him, because he swung and then he kind of stepped backwards, and by the time he stepped backwards, he was on the plate. Yeah.
And then B is stepping out of this batter's box, and that's what Jace Fillmore did. He, the pitch was thrown. The runner at first was going to second. And I don't know, like I listened to our broadcast again this morning.
Oh, did you?
And I don't know, we both kind of thought, especially the way he reacted, we thought it was ball 4.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah.
Because you remember that?
Because he started
to
walk towards first.
Yeah, he just started to walk to first.
And it was not ball 4. It should have been ball 3.
It was ball 3. It made it full count, 3
Yeah.
and 2. And I didn't see this the first time. The catcher, I believe it was Millen, was the catcher.
Yes.
But he does get up. I kind of thought he just stood up. But he
does
did
shoot
get up.
He shoots up.
He did get up, and he even cocked his arm like he was going to throw it. Never did. But he did put that. I didn't see that the first time. And yes, he did walk in front of the plate. Again, I don't know if he thought it was ball 4. I don't know of any other reason why he would do that. And hey, it happens. It happens. But anyways, he did send me. Now, the rule goes on, making any other movement, including follow-through interference, which hinders actions at home plate or the catcher's attempt to play on a runner, or failing to make a reasonable effort to vacate a congested area when there's a throw to home plate. Now that goes into different rules, but or different plays.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you lean over the plate or if you walk in front of the plate, it's an out.
Yeah. And that's what happened. So it sounds like it was the correct call made.
Yeah,
You know,
it
you
just
be
doesn't-
the judge. Here's the thing. It's
Kyler one.
it's letter of the law versus the spirit of the law, right?
Yes. And that's what I told Jeff. I responded back. I said, hey, thanks for sending me the rule, the high school rule. I do know that rules do apply differently from pro to college to high school. So I did thank him. And I said, even if it was called correctly, especially the Kyler one,
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel right. You know, and that
Yeah.
goes to your point, letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. It just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Because, you know, again, the catcher did not come up throwing. On the Kyler one, I don't believe that. I have to go back and watch that again. I watched the Jace Fillmore one over and over,
Mhm.
but I don't remember him stepping in. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch. But regardless, luckily it didn't have anything to do with the outcome of the game. Now, just think if this would have been a 4-3 ball game.
Yeah, if it was a
Yikes.
close ball game, that's a big difference.
Yikes.
But it wasn't, for Desert Hill's favor. They did have those go against them, yes, but I mean, you still go when you win 16-3, so it didn't really hinder them
You know, and it goes
much.
back to basketball season too. At Crimson Cliffs, there was a block shot. I believe
that
it was
goaltending block
Yes.
shot controversy.
And again, I was talking to Trent Lindstrom. He was there with the officials, and we were walking out of the building, and I just happened to be walking next to Trent, who we had on the show like just days or a week before.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, he goes, everybody's getting all crazy about it, but the call was right because goaltending is not the same in high school as it is the NBA. Now, I do not like the high school rule. I like the NBA rule better
Mhm.
and the college rule. I mean, once it touches the glass, you can't
You
block it.
can't touch it.
Now, in high school, you can. If you go up for a layup and you hit the bottom part of the glass and it's still going to go up, you can still block that shot.
As long as it's not above the rim.
Yes.
The ball has to be fully above the rim before it's considered goaltending. As
and
long
he-
as it's not above the rim, it doesn't matter.
And here's the reason I don't like that is because that puts too much responsibility on the officials.
Yeah.
It's going to be up to interpretation. And I think anytime you can take interpretation out of the officials or out of the umpire's hands, it's better because you're going to get half of that arena or half of that crowd. It's going to be pissed at you, and the other half's going to be happy with you. But if you took the interpretation part out of it, I like that better. I like it better that once that ball touches the glass, you can't touch it. That's black and white to me.
Yeah.
You know, the high school rule just opens it up for interpretation. I wish they would change that. I don't like that. I like rules that are going to be black and white and not open for interpretation to the umpires or to the officials.
Because all it does is people who do follow sports, let's be honest, most people know the professional rules. They know the NBA
That's
rules.
exactly
they know the
right.
MLB rules.
Yes.
And then you end up with the angry parents, which we're trying really hard to avoid angry parents. So when parents go and they watch something like that happen, and it's like, okay, well, you're either a little more lenient or maybe you're a little more strict, right? Baseball, the rule that we're talking about for baseball, it's a little more strict.
Yeah.
For basketball, the rule that you're talking about is a little more lenient, right?
Right.
And so either way, you're going to have one side of one group is going to be really upset. So what do you do in that situation, right? If we just have some fairly even rules across the board, then it's not so much an issue.
Yep.
Right? I don't mind that NBA has 6 fouls and high school has 5. Okay, that's fine. That's not up for interpretation.
And the
Those
reason
kind of rules that are up for interpretation, I think you almost need to kind of mold them all to be as close as you possibly can.
And here's the reason for that. People want to see Steph Curry playing. They want to see LeBron James on the court.
Yeah, so if
they
he has
don't
5
want to
fouls,
see,
he can still be out there.
Yeah, they don't want to see the guy that replaces LeBron James.
Well, and they
or
play-
the guy that replaces
They play more
Steph Curry.
minutes too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They're playing 12-minute quarters as opposed to 8.
They want to see Shaq play. They don't want to see the guy that's backing up Shaq.
Shaq doesn't play anymore.
Not anymore, but back in the day, you big. Anyways, that's why the NBA has 6 fouls, because they do want their stars out there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why people pay big money for the big tickets.
They play longer games.
Yep.
They want them to make sure that they're staying out there as long as possible. So, and in high school, those 5 fouls can go quick, but then again, it's high schoolers. They don't necessarily have the finesse that these NBA players do. Now, again, sometimes NBA players, this is a whole debate in itself, right? Where you can get away with a little bit more in the NBA than you can maybe at the high school level.
Yeah.
At high school, they'll call kind of anything, and it depends on also who's refereeing the game.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I don't know. It's interesting, the rules between high school to professional sports. The other night on Friday night with that Desert Hills Pineview game, we learned a lot because of those 2 calls. Now, here's what's interesting for Desert Hills' sake. The next batter up after that, well, that's the guy that got the inside the park home run and scored 2 runs.
Yeah.
So, what could have maybe been a bases loaded situation had those guys taken their walks, because they were probably pretty close to getting some walks, and you would already had 1 guy on base, 2 more maybe on. That could have been an inside the park grand slam, but it wasn't. So
Landon Musgrave, Seth Wells both get their first home runs as high schoolers. Kyler Terry hit 1 as well. And Hagan Reed was the one that hit the inside the parker.
Yep.
That one was very, very exciting. The other game, man, I had to look at the score to make sure I was on the baseball page and not the softball page.
you had to make sure you weren't on basketball with that score.
Cedar beat Hurricane in Hurricane 22-16.
Yeah, it's a high
22
scoring
to
game.
16. My hell. Cedar scored 7 in the first, 3 in the second, 6 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth, and they were finally goose-egged in the 7th. But my goodness, 22-16.
And not to mention, Hurricane has 8 runs in the 5th, and they did cap off with 1 more run in the bottom of the 7th, but 8 runs, and that's half your runs in 1 inning right there for Hurricane. So, that's a high-scoring ball game. That is I bet that was a very long game.
Oh, my goodness.
I can't even imagine what time that one finally got over.
Coulter Bunnell hit a home run for the Reds. I'm just kind of looking at some stats here. Nobody did on the Tigers, but just 22-16. And again, I just had to make sure that I was looking at the baseball page, not the softball page.
Yeah.
That's a big time score.
That's a huge score. And then again, Snow Canyon, Dixie faced off a little earlier. Dixie won 4-0 over Snow Canyon. So that's kind of where we're standing right now as far as the games went over the weekend.
And the standings are still pretty much the same. Max Preps has Crimson Cliffs up top at 9-1, Snow Canyon at 10-2, Dixie sitting at 7-3, Desert Hills right in the middle, 5-5, Cedar 2-8, Hurricane 2-8, and Pineview 1-9. One thing that I do kind of like about this is that everybody has won at least 1 game.
Yeah, it hasn't been a complete shutout of a season.
So that's
in a region.
That's always a little bit, especially for the outgoing seniors. You hate to see it. So
right, you want to make sure you get at least 1 game, and they have. They've all got at least 1 win in there. So, softball. Let's go to some of those scores. So, again, you had a couple of teams playing earlier, which, by the way, there is a softball game on the schedule for tonight. Hurricane at Crimson Cliffs at 7:00. So just keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that Snow Canyon game was a little earlier on Thursday. So I don't have that score pulled up in front of me right now. Do you have that score pulled up?
Which one? Hurricane Cedar?
Snow Canyon Dixie. Did you have that one pulled up? Because that one again was an earlier game. They played that one Thursday.
I had 16-1 Snow Canyon.
I think that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Desert Hills though over Pineview for softball, 16-0.
Ouch.
Tough one. And then we had Cedar and Hurricane. That was a close one.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. 10-9.
Yep, Cedar gets the win.
That's a good one right there. Also, too, we want to do a shout out to Dixie high school softball player Jam Mullins. She had a signing day today, so she is going to go play softball up at Slick.
Nice.
She's going to go up there and there's a lot of Region 10 players going up to Slick this year. You got Bo Sampson and Javen Ross. You got Jager Baldwin, all from the Mustangs baseball team going up there. Now you got Jam Mullins. There might be one or two others too that I can't think of off the top of my head, but yeah, a lot of Region 10 going up to Slick.
Yeah. Now Snow Canyon is done with region play since they're the teams with the buys this week. So no more Snow Canyon region baseball. They've done it all. Right now, Snow Canyon for the girls for softball, they're sitting on top of the region right now with an 11-1 record. That's followed by Desert Hills in 2, Crimson Cliffs is 3rd, Hurricane, Cedar, Pineview, Dixie.
Now, if you want to know how the girls softball is in 4A standings, now they've taken the RPI down, but we went over to Max Preps, and usually they're kind of tied together. The standings are as follows. Ridgeline sitting number 1, Bear River number 2, followed by 2 Region 10 teams, Desert Hills, Lady Thunder, Snow Canyon Lady Warriors, both sitting respectively 3rd and 4th, followed by Skyview, Crimson Cliffs, Hurricane, Cedar, Mountain Crest, Green Canyon, Logan, Pineview, and Dixie, both kind of sitting at the bottom there. Again, that's girls softball 4A standings. I've got the baseball in front of me as well. It's going to go Crimson, Snow Canyon, Dixie, all Region 10 teams, which is not a shocker since the 4A state champion has been from Region 10 or / Region 9 for, about 10 to 12 years, if memory holds well. But it's going to be Crimson, Snow Canyon, Dixie, and then Mountain Crest, Green Canyon, and then Desert Hills slips in there at number 6, followed by Bear River, Ridgeline, Skyview, Hurricane, Pineview, Cedar, and Logan. That's your baseball standings as of right now. Now, you've already got up there boys soccer.
Yep, so I have the soccer bracket. If you, for those watching on YouTube, we'll pull it up for you right now. So soccer, they wrapped it up this weekend. Co-region champs, Desert Hills and Crimson Cliffs. So Desert Hills actually, they had it locked in, and then they lost to Cedar on Friday.
Ooh.
Giving Crimson the chance to go, and if Crimson won Friday night, they would be co-region champs. Crimson goes and they win, co-region champs. So Layton Christian Academy has the 1 seed, so they'll have the bye. They'll face the winner of Dixie and Cedar, who are the 8 and 9 seed. That takes us to Ridgeline and Bear River. Ridgeline is 4 seed, Bear River 13. Green Canyon is a 5 seed against Pineview, which is 12. Crimson takes the 2 seed, so they'll get a bye, followed by Skyview, Snow Canyon. Crimson will play the winner of that matchup. And then Desert Hills Hurricane, that's the 3 seed against the 14 seed. Then they will play, whoever wins that game will play the winner of Mountain Crest and Logan.
Man, it looks like it's going to, if it holds chalk, it looks like it's going to come down to Crimson and Desert Hills in the semis.
Yeah, that'd be a huge semi game.
Wow.
Probably taking on Layton Christian with how well they've been playing. I would assume Layton Christian's the team to beat right now.
Well, then that would be Layton Christian would take on, again, if that goes chalk, they'd take on Ridgeline.
Yeah, it'd be Ridgeline in the semis, and then winner of Crimson and Dixie, or Desert Hills, I mean.
Yeah, that's if it goes chalk.
Yeah. And by the way, as far as it goes for where they're playing, it's home sites for the first 2 rounds. For the first round, quarterfinals, home sites. Then they're going to go play at Zions Bank Stadium, which is where Real Salt Lake practices, their practice stadium out in Harriman.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then the finals, the championship, will be played at Rio Tinto.
At Rio Tinto, okay.
So, or America First Field, as they're calling it.
Now sponsor now, huh?
Yeah, that's that. Well, Rio Tinto is technically a sponsor too, but I think they've changed the name of it, so people know it as Rio Tinto.
Yeah.
But that's so they'll be playing state there.
If you'd have said the other bank, I wouldn't have known what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you did.
Yeah. So that's what soccer looks like right now. So let's take a break.
Okay.
Let's take a break.
Let's do it.
We're at about that time. We'll take a break. More coming up next. So stick around with us here on From the Bleachers.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment news and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Welcome back in, everybody. It's From the Bleachers. Caden Formaster here and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know. Caden,
Yeah.
I've got some things to look forward to in the beautiful month of May. It is May 1st today.
It is May 1st.
For those of you who did not know, maybe you wrote down April 31st. Well, it's not.
April 31st doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. Today is May 1st. And here are 5 things to look forward to, okay?
Okay.
Number 1, and maybe this is your thing, maybe it's not. The coronation of King Charles is coming up this Saturday. I don't even know what that is.
I didn't realize that hadn't already happened.
He's been king since Queen Elizabeth passed away in September, but it's the official crowning ceremony. Now I know what it is.
I learned what coronation is from Frozen.
I did not see Frozen.
Yeah, because you probably just didn't have kids around that age at that
No,
time.
and not girls. Usually, isn't that a girl Disney movie?
Anyone can watch Frozen. It's a good movie. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed the movie.
Now, since we are a sports station, there are some sports to look forward to in the month of May. You've got the NBA and the NHL playoffs. They're happening
right now.
all month long. You've got the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, that's in the month of
Which
May?
is this
I didn't know
Saturday.
that. I never know when the Kentucky Derby is. I don't follow horse racing all that much.
This Saturday. Plus, you've got the PGA Championship. That starts on the 18th.
All right.
You got the French Open. Starts on the 22nd. And let's not forget the Indy 500 on May 28th.
Very nice.
So that's always right there
Hey,
at Memorial Day.
Next week, you know, I've been getting into Formula One.
Yes.
Next week is Miami. So there are 3 races in the United States, and this upcoming weekend is the first in Miami.
The first of okay.
So
I'm going to keep on reminding me on that.
Yeah.
I want to
the
kind of
race
keep my
is
tabs on that.
Sunday at 1:30 on ESPN.
Okay.
Sunday at 1:30 is the main race.
I don't have, well, I have ESPN Plus. Maybe?
Maybe. I
Okay.
don't know. Maybe.
Okay, number 3.
I'll let you know.
You'll like this one. You already probably know.
Maybe.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3
Yes,
comes
I did
out.
know about that,
You
yeah.
know this. It opens
yeah.
up this Friday, right?
Is it this Friday?
That's what it says here
I
on
know
the-
that it's sneaking up on me.
The World Wide
probably
Web
is,
says
it probably
it's
is
this Friday.
Yeah.
You've also got, now they're into double digits with this.
Okay.
Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah, it's Fast 10, Fast X.
That's
Did you know they're making a Fast X Part 2?
No, I don't.
I just heard the announcement
Dude,
for that.
I haven't ever.
I don't
watched
think I've. I
one
think the
episode.
last one that I watched was Too Fast, Too Furious.
I've never seen
Fast
any
and
of
Furious number 2.
Yeah.
I think that's the last one I've watched. I don't follow that franchise at all.
Now you'll like this one.
Okay.
It's gonna be Disney's live action remake of The Little Mermaid.
Sure.
You're a Disney. You just got done saying you watched Frozen.
Yeah, Frozen was a good movie. I don't care about Little Mermaid as much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not on my list. Not on my radar.
Just trying to give you a little dig.
Yeah.
Also, number 4. Now this is on TV. The MTV Movie and TV Awards.
Yeah, I don't care.
Those are May 7th. America's Got Talent returns on May 30th.
I don't watch a lot of that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's first TV series, the Netflix spy comedy FUBAR. Do you know what FUBAR stands for?
No.
I'm going to have to tell you off air.
Oh,
Okay.
then maybe I could guess.
And then finally, it's all the holidays in May. You've got the big ones. You've got Cinco de Mayo. Mother's Day's on
Hey,
the 14th.
You skipped the best one.
I'm coming back. Hold on.
Okay.
You've got Mother's Day on the 14th. You got Memorial Day on the 29th. Okay. But there's also Star Wars Day,
Yeah.
May the 4th.
Yeah.
Here's one that I'm looking forward to.
Okay, let's hear it.
National Eat What You Want Day. That's on the 11th. Put that down. National Eat What You Want Day on May 11th. And
Every day's a cheat day on that day, right?
National Mimosa Day on the 16th.
Mimosas. I know what
And-
we're doing during our show. No, I'm just kidding.
And this is kind of nice that it's right around Memorial Day. National Hamburger Day is on May 28th.
All right, I that's the one I'm marking on the calendar.
I like the National Eat What You Want Day.
Well, Eat What I Want Day is probably still going to consist of burgers. Do you know what I've been craving lately?
A Big Mac.
No.
Oh.
Super Chicks.
Well, why didn't you go there?
I don't know. It just sounds good. I like Super Chicks. It's good food.
I do too.
It's good chicken.
It is
Maybe
good
that's what I'm doing for Eat What
Dude,
You Want Day.
there's
is
lots of
Super
chicken
Chicks.
places popping up now, all over.
We got a Wingstop now. Finally,
So you've
I'm
got
happy about that. I love Wingstop
so this town kind of seems to get things in bulk.
in
Like-
chunks. Yeah.
Like at one time it was Mexican food restaurants, and don't get me wrong, I love them all. Okay,
Yeah,
that's my
Mexican food's
favorite
great.
kind of food.
Yeah.
Then it was car washes.
Yeah.
Car washes just started popping up all over the place. Then it was and maybe drink shops before car washes, but
Well, that's
drink
true.
shops.
Drink shops. I
Soda
would say
shops.
like 2000.
Yeah.
Like when I was in college, they were starting to pop up a
Starting to
lot.
pop up.
So 2012 through 2015,
Yeah.
16. You know, like around that area.
And then chicken places started to pop up
We
all
got
over.
Popeyes. We got Super
Yeah.
Chicks. Yeah. Yeah.
And now donut places starting to pop up all over the place
Oh,
now.
That's true. Now that you mention it,
There's a Donutsville being built out in Washington right
have
now. We have the Donut Run.
Pink
You have
Box.
Pink Box. You have new owners at Daylight Donuts, so they're trying to revamp things as well.
Mm-hmm.
Donut shops are kind of becoming a thing now.
So what's next?
And smashed in there was treat shops like cookies and cupcakes
Yeah.
as well.
What would you say is next if you had to guess? Steakhouses? We were getting one. Longhorn's coming in.
Yeah, we are getting, and maybe that's the start to another run of them. Who knows?
Maybe we're getting some more steakhouse kind of places.
Italian places. I'd like to have a little bit more.
We have
Well, we have a few of those
we have
too.
a couple. Not a ton. We could use more.
Yeah. So anyways,
Yeah.
I've just noticed that we go in we get things in chunks. Yeah, that's a good word to use, chunks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Maybe what's next is another Target. We could use another Target. Like the big stores, like the Targets and the Walmarts and Costco's. Maybe we get a few more of each of those.
yeah,
Maybe that's on the list.
I hate Target's parking lot.
Me too. All right. We're going to be taking a break before the top of the hour. When we come back, let's dive into all of those sports that you were just talking about. Let's get to NBA. Let's get to the NFL draft. Let's talk a little hockey. There's some good stuff to get to. So more coming up on From the Bleachers. So stick around with us, and we'll be back for more coming up next.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine. Not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show, From the Bleachers, live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Back at it here. It's from the Bleachers, kicking off your 5 o'clock hour on May 1st. We welcome you into the show, Keaton Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Now, don't forget that you can also catch the show on the radio, or you can watch us on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page, where we are live streaming right now.
I'm looking at us up on YouTube right now.
Yeah, we got a little monitor. For me, it's up there. For Mark, it's like that direction. Anyways, we have our, yeah.
I love playing to the camera.
We have
I tell
our
you what, if
camera.
you're not watching us on YouTube, you're missing out because
That's a fun way to do
you
it.
can see how red my face gets when I'm mad at Caden, and you can see just how calm he is all the time. I get it.
I'm pretty level-headed.
You are very level-headed.
I like
Don't
to pride myself on that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, we went to Las Vegas Aviators yesterday, and I have to tell you this one story.
Okay,
Now,
I'm
the
hearing
Aviators
it.
got blown out, by the way. Okay.
And they were playing
Tacoma Rainiers.
Tacoma.
Yeah, Tacoma. And I got to tell you, they put in some position players to pitch.
Oh, I love that.
Dude.
That's always my favorite.
They put in a position player in the last inning.
Okay.
And, dude, he was just taking it all in, being on the bump, dude.
He was just enjoying it, huh?
He struck out, like, the last two batters with, like, 49-mile-per-hour pitches.
Just,
Yeah. Dude,
boom.
it was, and they would swing and miss, and I mean they're trying to just kill the ball too.
Yeah, because they're like
Yeah.
you're soft tossing us
Exactly.
to us. Let's give them a ride.
He struck out the last batter, and he just struts off of the mound. I mean, it was so funny.
I love
That's
it.
one thing I love about AAA is that it is just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And again, between innings, they have contests out on the field with mostly kids and stuff like that, and it's a ton of fun. And we're going to be giving away some Aviator tickets starting next Monday, so you'll definitely want to start listening.
Now, who are they playing next Monday? I want to say
I believe they're at
It is-
Albuquerque.
no. So Albuquerque's coming to town.
I think it is Albuquerque.
They're
yeah.
actually in Salt Lake this
Oh, okay.
month.
Then it is Albuquerque. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I looked at this schedule somewhat recently, but
Mhm.
it's been a bit.
But yeah, it is so much fun. And one thing too, Macy and I were talking as we were walking out, and Landon went with us as well. But we were walking out of the ballpark, walking back to the mall where we park, and it's really just a short little walk too.
Yeah, it's
Free
really,
parking.
really easy walk.
But we were just talking about just how clean it is there. And then as we were driving, we went to Cheesecake Factory afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just driving in Summerlin, and it is so nice there. That
It's
does
a
not
nice
even
area.
you don't even associate that with Las Vegas.
No.
It is so clean, so nice. All of the landscape is kept up, palm trees everywhere. It is really, really nice. And again, I can't wait to go down to another Aviators game real soon here.
Yeah, so I just pulled it up. So today's an off day. They are going to Sacramento. So
Okay.
they play in Sacramento this week.
The
then
River
next-
Cats.
Yeah, which we went to a River Cats
We
game.
did.
And then it's at home against Albuquerque for May 9th. So we'll be giving away
Okay.
some tickets for that May 9th game.
That whole week we'll give away some tickets, whatever fits your schedule. We'll give away a couple of sets, and whatever fits your schedule. Maybe it's a Wednesday night is the only night you can go down.
Yeah.
We'll get you Wednesday night tickets.
Yep. So 9, 10, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. There's games all that week. The series after that is actually the one that's in Salt Lake.
Okay.
And then they're home again on May 30th against El Paso.
Hey, are they in Salt Lake during the state playoffs?
Yes.
Oh,
Dude, we should go to a game.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
As long as, well, and here's the thing. They're all early games. 10 a.m. is what I'm seeing.
Interesting.
I'm seeing an 11, a 10, and then we have something that's like a 5:30.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
if we
can make it work, If we can make it work,
we should talk about it.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, that'd be fun to go to a game.
But yeah, so if you want to go to a AAA, have that experience, it's a lot of fun. Make sure you're listening next week, and we're going to do this all summer long. We're going to give away a lot of Las Vegas Aviator tickets. So be ready, be listening. If you love baseball, well, you don't have to love it as much as I do, but if you love baseball, you're going to want to go. It's a lot of fun.
It is fun. And I'll tell you what, I've become an Aviators fan, which is kind of weird to
Dude,
be a fan of AAA baseball.
They didn't look very good yesterday.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is AAA. They're so hit or miss.
Well, and here's the
honestly.
thing too: are the Aviators AAA or are they AA? Because really, the Oakland A's are a AAA team.
Fair.
So the Aviators might be a AA playing in AAA.
Do you know what's funny is the Aviators play decent. You know, they play all right.
It's just so much fun.
Yeah, and then just the A's are just so horrible.
Yeah.
So, what's fun too is like, for example, Sacramento River Cats. They are the affiliate of the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember right. Albuquerque which is the series coming up. They are the team for the Rockies.
Okay.
El Paso is with the Padres. That's the series after that. Salt Lake is obviously with the Angels. If you didn't know that. So when you do watch these series, you do get to see some of these players that are on their way to the MLB.
Right.
So if you are a Padres fan, if you are a Giants fan, if you are a Rockies fan, if you are an Angels fan, these are fun games to go to. If you're an A's fan, especially if you're an A's fan, these are games you got to get to.
I can't remember what player it was, but he had been on the Oakland A's because when they bring up his picture on the big scoreboard, he had his Oakland Athletics stuff on.
Yeah.
And so he's either down there for,
rehab,
reassignment, whatever. Dude, he hit a bomb yesterday over the left field wall. You know where it says Las Vegas Ballpark?
Yeah.
Up there. He hit the G. Like, it was so high up.
Dude, that's like 400.
He did.
420 or something.
He crushed it. And that's what's a lot of fun. It's just seeing those guys, hit those bombs and play the game. And anyway, it was a lot of fun. And again, not to sound like a broken record, but we're going to be giving away tickets all summer long. And we start next week.
So the final score was 14-7 yesterday, apparently.
Yeah.
Huh? Not a great one.
Yeah.
But
and it started off fast too. Like, look at the Rainiers' first couple of innings.
Oh yeah, it was 8-0 after the second inning.
After the second, they scored 4 in the first, 4 in the second.
Bottom of the ninth was when the Aviators scored 3.
Yeah,
and kind of tried to even it up a little bit, but yeah, they got ahead
and
way fast.
That's funny too because we left at the middle of the ninth, so I didn't even know they scored those last 3 runs.
Really?
Yeah.
By the way, it was Pena.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That hit the home run.
Yeah. Dude, it was so far. He hit the G in Las Vegas Ballpark. It was awesome.
Yeah. Manny Pena.
Yeah.
That's who it was.
Anyways,
yeah, that's fun. Hey, so let's talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs. Now that we are officially moving on to the second round, I feel like it's taken forever for us to get to the point where it feels like we're finally moving on to round 2. And we're now in round 2. We're pretty well established in round 2. The Kings got knocked out by the Warriors in a fantastic first round series.
And you're not surprised by that, are you?
No, I was rooting for the Kings, but I wasn't going to be surprised if they were going to lose it, just because it's a team that they haven't been in the playoffs. None of those guys that are in there have really, some of them have been to the playoffs just because they've been on other teams.
Yeah.
But the Kings as a franchise, a lot of their core guys are not playoff guys.
They probably haven't been to the playoffs since the old Chris Webber days, have they?
They were the longest streak. This is a broken streak now of the longest playoff drought. So, which is big, which is huge.
And I was rooting for the Kings as well. Honestly, I thought the Kings would be an easier opponent.
Oh, I think the Kings would have. I think the Kings would have been tough for the Lakers.
We'll never know.
But I think the Warriors are going to be even. Oh, they might be even tougher. So
I think they are. Here's the thing: the Warriors. I've never backed off of my statement of experience counts in the playoffs. It just does. It just does.
And
the Kings didn't have it. The Kings didn't have anything.
Yeah.
They didn't have it.
But now they do. That's the good thing about Sacramento is next year so much more to look forward to because you've been there, right? Mm-hmm. You played a great series against a really tough team. Let's be honest. Even as a 6th seed. The Warriors are a tough team.
Yeah.
So the fact that they pushed that to Game 7, hey, give them a lot of credit for making the playoffs number 1. They won their division, so they've had a successful season.
Yeah.
If you really look at it as a whole, it's been a successful season.
Right.
So anyway, so we have Lakers, Golden State. That series is going to get underway. Philadelphia and Boston has yet to get underway as well. Miami has 1 win and Denver has 1 win. Denver looked way good against Phoenix too.
You know
It was a
what?
great first game for them.
I'm going Denver in that series.
So am I.
Yeah,
I am.
Me too. And part of it is probably because I'm rooting for Kevin Durant to lose.
Yeah, you just don't want Phoenix to win. That's
Yeah,
really what it is.
But I really do think that Denver's gonna win. You know, everything that I've seen on them, you know, highlights and stuff. I haven't sat down and watched them really, but I've looked at some highlights and the way that they're playing. I like the way they're playing.
Yeah, I agree. I like what they're doing as well. I mean, I feel like they have a complete starting lineup. When you look at their starting lineup, they have really solid guys at every single position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not necessarily every single one of them is going to be an all-star, but they have guys that either have been all-stars or they are pushing towards that. I just feel like they're a very complete team right now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not like Phoenix is that different.
Right.
Phoenix just doesn't necessarily go that deep. In my opinion, I don't think they do.
Now, I will tell you on CBS Sports, their experts have all picked
Phoenix.
They do. They have 4 out of 6 picking Phoenix. Bill Ryder has the Suns. Brad Botkin has the Nuggets. James Herbert has the Suns. Colin Ward Henninger has the Suns. Michael Kasky-Blomain has the Suns. And Jack Maloney has the Nuggets. So 4 out of 6 are going Phoenix. I think people get too wrapped up in the names that Phoenix has.
I think so too.
And I just don't.
They're just not playing cohesive basketball
exactly.
yet.
Ever since they brought in Kevin Durant, who was supposed to really excel them into an NBA championship, I think he's kind of stymied them a little bit.
And I don't know if I would go that far because they obviously won their first series.
You know, I always go farther than you.
I know. Against a tough Clippers team, they did win that series.
Right.
Now, I wouldn't say it's super tough because, you know, they weren't really 100%. So I feel like this Phoenix team, though, just still has a lot to learn. They're just too they're too new as far as their form together, right? It's a bunch of veteran players, sure, right? But you add in a big time scorer like Kevin Durant, that will break up your offense. Well, your whole game, not just your offense, but you know everything. You have to relearn a new system because you're bringing in a guy that is extremely impactful. You have to figure out how to use him to the best advantage. That takes time for the team to figure out how to use him to the best of your advantage. Even though these guys are professionals, these guys will learn it faster than anybody. It's still going to take time, and learning that through the playoffs is not the best time to learn it.
Right.
You know, because he was injured right at the trade deadline. That's kind of worst case scenario for Phoenix because now they have less time to really figure out what their identity is. They're learning. They're doing all right. But then you look at the game against the Nuggets, it's like, okay, 125 to 107, that's a bloodbath in the playoffs.
So backing up, or I should say moving on to another series.
Yeah.
You've got the Lakers and the Warriors. I will tell you that here's how the CBS Sports experts picked this series.
Okay.
Bill Ryder, Warriors. Brad Botkin, Warriors. James Herbert, Warriors. Colin Ward Henninger, Warriors. Michael Kasky-Blomain, Warriors. Jack Maloney, Warriors. Mark Musgrave, Lakers.
Warriors. Mark, I think it's Warriors in 5.
Okay. I'm going Lakers in 6.
Okay. I just don't.
You know, this is going to be a fun series.
No,
You've got
maybe,
two champion.
but-
You got 2 champion teams. Like they've been there, they've done it. They have tons of experience on both sides.
They do.
And this is going to be a fun. It's LeBron versus Steph.
This
Steph
is the
versus
moneymaker
LeBron.
series.
It really is.
This is the moneymaker series for the NBA right now.
Oh yeah.
And that's exactly what they want. They want these series where the big names are pitted against each other. Now hear me out. If Phoenix does win this series, it doesn't matter who moves on from Golden State or the Lakers. It's Kevin Durant and Chris Paul against LeBron and Anthony
LeBron
Davis,
and AD,
or against Steph and Clay,
Yep,
or
yep.
like the West right
No
now with the
question.
teams that are left. And even if it's Jokic, it's like, okay, so it's Jokic, who in himself is a big name. Now I would say that he's not as big of a name.
No, he's not.
He should be. He's
Mhm.
just not vocal. He
Yes.
plays this game and he goes home
And he's in
and-
Denver.
yeah, and he's in
I mean-
Denver. It's not that Denver's a small market by any means, but they're just a team in the NBA that they
Yeah.
get overlooked.
Right, they do.
You know? So for me, when I look at where they're at right now, it's like, okay, yeah, 3 of the 4 teams are going to be highly sought after to be in the NBA Finals. 3 of the 4. That's
Yeah.
great. That's what you want if you are the NBA.
Right.
Now, some of us who, you might dislike certain players or certain teams or whatever, right now it's kind of all of the, I don't know what you would call them, the anti-heroes kind of, it's like,
Mhm.
it's either you love them or you hate them,
Right.
and it's what the teams are right now are left. That's the
Yeah.
teams that we have in the West, outside of maybe Denver, and Denver's just kind of like the guy that's there.
Yeah.
That's just he's the guy that showed up to play ball who happens to be really good.
Right.
You
right.
know, he's not polarizing. He's just there.
And
That's what Denver is.
And I think, if and when the Lakers get knocked out, I think Denver, if they can advance, they're probably the team that I'll be rooting for, because again,
I'm rooting for Denver right now.
they're one of
They're
those.
my team right now through the playoffs.
It's
yeah.
like you said, Denver's just kind of there. You don't despise them. You don't love them. They're just kind of there in the middle. You hate. There's people you either love or you hate the Lakers.
Yeah.
There's no gray in between. I think it's the same with the Warriors now.
Yeah.
Because they've had so much success, and the way Draymond acts, but Steph's a good dude. You either love him or you hate him. That's the way that it is with the Warriors too. I think with the Suns, with Kevin Durant joining them, I could have been on the Suns bandwagon. I really could have once the Lakers
Mhm.
got knocked out. But when they went out and got Kevin Durant and KD goes there, what?
It muddies the water a
It
little
turns
bit.
me
doesn't it?
off. Turns me off. I'm again, if and when the Lakers get knocked out, I'm going Denver.
I'm rooting for Denver
So,
right now, anyways.
Yeah.
Because the Warriors Lakers series, I'm like, I don't care at all. I don't care. The Suns, it's like the Suns would probably be my number 2 team right now, and that almost hurts to say that. Just
Right.
because I'm like, because all of the teams that are left, it's like I don't have anything that's attaching me to any of those teams.
Right.
Denver, as a Jazz fan, Denver's a big division rival. Granted, they've always been a respectable division rival. It's not like a team where lately we've had bad blood between each other. That's not the case right now. They are just there. They exist. And I don't care. Like,
Well-
they're just a middle ground team for me.
Yeah, and I think Denver reminds me of the Utah Jazz, like the Denver Nuggets. They're that Rocky Mountain team, mid market, not a big market, not a
You're
small
not bringing in
market.
tons of free agents.
Exactly. So Denver kind of reminds me of the Salt Lake Jazz a little bit. What?
Salt Lake Jazz.
You don't like that?
It just felt wrong. It was like a cheese grater to my ears right there. I was like, oh,
Well, that's what they should be.
no.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so let's call Minnesota Timberwolves the Minneapolis.
Yes, they should
Timberwolves.
be. Yes, they should be.
I disagree. And should we call them
They should be cities, not states.
the San Francisco Warriors?
Yes, they should be.
Because they represent the whole state.
They shouldn't.
Okay.
I'm just saying they should be city. This is a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But that's funny that we kind of.
Anyways.
Anyway, so those two teams remind me of each other, though.
Yeah.
They really do. So I can totally understand why Jazz fans, and maybe not all Jazz fans are rooting for the Nuggets, but I could certainly see why they would, because again, they're very similar. It's very similar markets, everything like that.
Yeah.
So
I get that. That makes sense.
now I will tell you, in the other series, the Knicks versus Heat, they have, let's see, Ryder has the Knicks, Botkin has the Knicks, Herbert has the Heat, Henninger has the Heat, Blomain has the Heat, Maloney has the Knicks, Quinn Knicks, and Jazz. I didn't know that there was another one. Jasmine has the Heat. So that's kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, kind of split right there.
I don't have a preference on that one, if I'm being honest.
Who do you think might come out of that?
I think the Heat are going to win that one. If I have to say who I think it's going to be,
Yeah.
I think it's the Heat. Who do I want it to be? I think I'd rather have the Knicks.
Okay.
So I do think it's going to be the Heat. I think Jimmy Butler right now is just playing some of his top-level basketball, and he might single-handedly carry them through this series.
Boston, Philly. Pretty much everybody has
I'd
Boston,
go Boston.
except
Yeah,
for one.
I'd go Boston.
And he may have made this pick for Philly before they found out that Joel Embiid's going to be out again for game 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those that I go Boston.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I'm going to make a pick of who's going to come out of the East entirely, I think it's Boston. I think Boston's going to the finals.
Dude, Celtics-Lakers old rivalry in the NBA Finals.
Good luck. It's not going to happen.
Why do you shoot me down so fast? The Lakers are still in the playoffs.
Just because they're in the playoffs doesn't mean that they're going to get past
But
the second round.
Tell me the NBA would not love that.
I mean, it'd be enjoyable.
You would have
so
much.
For your generation, they would love it. My generation,
yeah.
we don't care. Like that rivalry is rivalry was so far before our time. I don't care.
Yeah,
personally, I don't.
But even when I was in the 80s, I cared about the Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain. Do you guys not think of history at all?
I mean, yeah, it's there, but in the storylines of it are there, but you have to rebuild those rivalries. Right now, it's a LeBron versus Steph rivalry.
And then
that's what makes this series
you had
so
the
fun.
Paul Pierce and Kobe Bryant days.
Yeah, and that's a little more memorable for us, for me. So yes, you have that.
Celtics, Lakers.
If you could build a new East versus West rivalry, because right now we just don't have those.
Right.
For a little bit, I would say it was, again, you had LeBron with the Cavs and Steph with the Warriors.
Warriors, Cavs.
Which is, again, what makes this series so fun with the Lakers right now.
Who were when LeBron was with the Heat, who was in the West?
San Antonio.
Was it San Antonio?
Yeah.
That was coming out there a lot?
They played San Antonio. Remember that series against San Antonio where, like, the AC wasn't working?
Yes, I do remember
in
that.
I think it was in San Antonio.
Yes.
And it was like they're playing in the stadium. And it was like, it was
90
like
something or
it was like 90s to 100 degrees in the arena, and they're trying to play the finals.
I do remember that.
Yeah. So, which is funny because the Heat couldn't stand the heat,
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think who else they played against in series. Was Dallas in there? I don't remember. I just remember San Antonio.
Yeah,
for sure.
Dallas could have been in there as well with Dirk. I know that they won a championship, so
they did.
I can't remember who they played it against.
Around that time, they did win a championship.
Yeah.
But I think LeBron, I'm trying to remember.
Well,
I know
Kobe
LeBron got one against.
And even Kobe and Pau Gasol. Even the
Yeah,
Lakers.
the Lakers
they
were
got
there.
a couple right there in the late 2010s.
Yeah.
It's,
I'm going to look it up.
10.
I'll look it up during the break and see who they were playing against. Just because now I'm curious.
Lakers Celtics. Your 2023 NBA Finals.
Lakers Celtics. Never going to happen. More after this.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine. Not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Corns for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in Southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
All right, so we looked it up over the break.
Yep.
So we were curious. Caden Formaster here and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know.
Do our introductions. By the way, you can watch us on YouTube if you didn't know.
I think we're entertaining.
Yeah, we're over on YouTube right now, live streaming this show as we speak. So you can head on over there and look at us do what we do here, doing the show. Okay, so here's the thing. We looked it up. I looked it up here. Here's what happened. Here's the big rivalries over the last 20 years, okay? So I would say that you had one series of Lakers Celtics, by the way, in 08. So
No,
yeah,
then
you take
another
that.
one. They were back to back.
No,
they did.
then they skip a year, and then
then
it was,
Magic,
you're right. There
and
was
then
two.
the
You
Celtics.
skipped
There
a
was
year, and
two.
then it was.
Yeah.
So the Lakers had 3 years in a row. 2 of those years were with the Celtics. So
Mhm.
that's kind of your first one. You had the Heat and the Mavericks, which started back in 06 when the Heat won the series. That was
Mhm.
without LeBron.
Right.
Then you had the Spurs were also in the mix right around there. So then LeBron comes over. They lose to the Mavericks when he comes over in 2011. They take a series against the Thunder. They take a series against the Spurs, and then they lose a series against the Spurs. So it was Miami and San Antonio in 13 and 14. Then LeBron goes back to Cleveland after he loses that one. He's like, all right, I guess I can't win with Miami anymore. Back to Cleveland. Let's go, let's get a championship for Cleveland.
Yeah.
The first year, they make it to the championship against the Warriors.
Yep.
Lose. The next year, they make it to the championships again against the Warriors. They win. And then it's 2 losses in a row against the Warriors. So the Warriors against LeBron, and granted, yes, it was Warriors Cleveland. Let's be honest. It was the Warriors against LeBron. That is still very fresh in a lot of people's minds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so
for
that's
sure.
what makes this series coming up between the Warriors and the Lakers so interesting, because it's the Warriors against LeBron
And then
all over again.
And then you throw Klay Thompson, and then you just throw Draymond Green into the mix, and it's must-see TV.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
It
a great,
really is.
I really do think it's a great series. And I don't care. I know a lot of people here in Southern Utah don't love the Warriors or the Lakers. If we're being completely honest, this is still a fun series. It's going to be a great series to watch.
As a Laker fan, I've always been in the minority here in St. George.
Yes.
No question.
Now, I will say Laker fans probably are like the second biggest fandom in the NBA in Southern Utah. I'd say it's the Jazz is an easy number one, and then the Lakers number
Lakers
two.
are number two?
100%. I don't know what other team would be even close.
Yeah.
I know way more Laker fans than I don't know any Suns fans here. If there are, I don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Anyways, so that's it. That's kind of interesting when you kind of look at the breakdown of the last few big series, you know, back to back to back to back, year after year. It's the same teams. Obviously, the Warriors have just been there a million times. I mean, they've won 1, 2, 3. They've won 4. Been there 6.
Right.
That's a lot. Since 2015, that's a lot. So
yeah, it is.
Anyways, Phoenix Suns have, by the way, yet to win a championship. They've been there 3 times. Last time they were there was 2021. Lost to the Bucks. So is it their year? Maybe. The Denver Nuggets, never been to a championship ever. So if the Nuggets make it to a championship, that's history.
That'd be kind of cool.
Obviously, the Lakers and the Warriors have been there and won many times.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's change gears just a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the NFL draft.
Dude, big time draft. Yeah, what were your takeaways? What did you think? I mean, you had the big thing was that Will Levis didn't get picked in the first round.
Will Levis going to the Titans is a win for the Titans, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be a decent quarterback. And if I'm wrong, I will eat my words, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because you just never know. But I think he could be an okay quarterback. And I know that I saw this video on TikTok of a Titans fan who's also a Tennessee Volunteers fan, right? And is this little girl who wanted Hendon Hooker so bad to come to the Titans because they knew the Titans were looking for a quarterback, and they go and they draft Will Levis, and she was destroyed.
Really?
Because she's like, he threw 4 interceptions against us when we played last year for college, and she was so mad.
Yeah.
But I do think he'll be okay. I think he's a lot like Zach Wilson in the fact that it's like, look, you just got to grow up a little bit, you know? You just got to remember that, hey, this is pro football. This isn't college. You're not a kid anymore. Just go out there and grow up a little bit. And I think that's what some teams were more worried about than the whole toe thing. I think they were more worried about maturity. Honestly.
Now, one pick that the Raiders made in the second round, they took the best player at that position, and it was a position of need. When Darren Waller left Las Vegas, they went and got Michael Mayer, tight end out of Notre Dame. And
I'm excited about that pick.
He was the number 1 tight end in the draft, and they got the number 1 player in that position. He had 67 receptions, 809 yards, 9 TDs last year with the Fighting Irish.
Yeah. You know, there was a part of me that was hoping they could get Dalton Kincaid, but the Bills snagged him up so early that there was really no way. So but the fact that they took the guy that's ranked number 1, that's big. That's really good. And I think that the Raiders had a decent draft.
You know,
I'm going to say, as far as drafting for need, they did that.
Well, I was looking at draft grades, and they gave the Las Vegas Raiders a B+.
Yeah,
now,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it was okay.
I will say,
I agree with that.
There's been times where they've gotten C's and D's and F's.
Yep.
So, but again, these players still. As I was listening to Q on Locked On Raiders this morning, these players still have to go out and prove it. They have to work. They have to prove it. We don't know how this draft plays out until another 3 or 4 years.
Yep,
that's
true.
when we know that the Raiders got a B+. Maybe they got an A. Maybe they got an F. We don't know really until 3 or 4 years down the road, but just based on projections, they got a B+, and I'm okay with that for sure. Like I said, I love that pick of Michael Mayer, tight end. One thing that Q noted as well, one thing that he does really well that Darren Waller just didn't do was block.
Yeah.
Michael Mayer can do it all. He can block. In fact, in one of his interviews, he said he's looking for a safety or for a corner
For somebody
to come up, and he just wants to, pancake him, take him to the ground. He has that type of attitude. Plus, he's got nice, soft hands over the middle. I mean, he's got good hands.
Yeah, he's got great hands.
So very excited about that pick. They took Byron Young, also this is in the third round, defensive line out of Bama. Now the pick that kind of had people scratching their head a little bit for the Raiders was Trey Tucker, wide receiver out of Cincy, kind of leading into the fact that maybe Hunter Renfrow won't be a Las Vegas Raider next year.
Yeah, because he's more of a slot.
Yes.
And I feel like Renfro's back, but
I hope he is.
You just never know.
And maybe they use Trey Tucker as kind of because he's very speedy. Maybe they use him as a gimmick kind of guy. Also kick returners and punt return.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Because honestly, so here's the thing: Renfro right now is their kick returner, punt returner guy.
I don't want him.
Doing that anymore. No. You want to draft a guy to do that. That's what I'm hoping they drafted him for, was to take over for that. Because you don't want him going out and getting, and by him I mean Hunter Renfrow, you don't want him going out and getting injured on a punt return.
Yeah.
I don't want him getting injured at all, but I would rather him just go do his thing as the slot.
Yeah.
That's what I prefer.
And I haven't seen any tape because I don't go and watch Purdue games all the time. But
Aiden O'Connell,
quarterback. Here's the thing with Aiden McConnell, though, what I've read up on him so far is, yes, he does have a quick release, but he can't move. In today's NFL quarterback, I think you've got to have some mobility. I don't know if the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning statue back there works anymore. Maybe it does. I don't know.
And I think it does a little, but it depends on the team.
That's the kind of quarterback he is. He's going to stand and deliver. He's not going to be mobile, but he does have a quick release. He's got average, a little bit better than average arm strength. They do say that he's pretty smart. But here's the thing too. Drafting him, I think it was in the fourth round. He's not going to be competing for the starting job with Jimmy G. I really believe it's going to be Jimmy G's job, even though I read a story about 2 weeks ago that said McDaniels has indicated that Jimmy G is going to have to earn that starting spot.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Not with the draft of Aiden O'Connell. I think that's Jimmy G's spot.
I think it's Jimmy G's spot too.
For sure.
Excuse me. Yeah, I do think it's Jimmy G's spot. Real quick, let's look at some of our local Utah universities that had players drafted, starting with BYU. In round 4, pick 4 offensive tackle Blake Freeland goes to the Indianapolis Colts. Jaron Hall, quarterback, of course, he went in round 5 to the Minnesota Vikings. And then Puka Nacua going to the LA Rams. Now, that's a good fit for him. He's got a lot to learn from a guy like Cooper Kupp, right?
Yeah.
That's a great spot for him to be able to go and hopefully learn, and maybe he can find himself on a roster. I like him going to the Rams. I think that's a really good one, especially considering he's got Matt Stafford, who is a gun quarterback. He's not the kind that on a passing play, he's going to keep it and run it himself. He's going to want to throw it out to a receiver.
Yeah.
So I think Puka Nacua, if he does make a roster, he should have some opportunities to get some balls thrown his way. I like that pickup.
Now, one player I was hoping would come to Las Vegas. I was hoping they'd pick him. Noah Sewell, linebacker, goes to Chicago.
He's in Chicago.
This is what it says on CBS Sports. This is how they describe Noah Sewell. Sewell is a thick, old-school framed linebacker who actually made a fair amount of plays in coverage in college, but that's not his specialty. He gets downhill, and when he does, look out. Power galore. Now, this is CBS Sports words.
Yeah.
Love this as an early down depth piece behind Edmonds and Edwards, and that's from Chris Trapasso with CBS NFL. So,
do you know what I love about this?
And the Bears got an A- on that draft. When you get an A-,
it's a good pick
in the 5th round. That's pretty good.
That's a good pick.
That's
do you know
pretty
what,
good.
Do you know what I love about this? They're same division as his brother, and they're on opposite sides of the ball from each other. So that means that he's
That's
going
pretty
to be
cool.
You're going to have Noah and Penne going up against each other. I would love to see Noah trying to rush for the quarterback up against his brother.
Yeah.
I can see it happening right now in those Bears Lions games.
That'll be pretty cool.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. So, Utah, the Utes, Dalton Kincaid, again, round 1 to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
That's, if you're a round 1 guy, you can pretty much guarantee he's going to be, especially at his position, he's going to be seeing the field this year. So that's kind of cool. He's going to be working with Josh Allen.
Well,
it's a good fit for him.
And here's, again, this is what they say about Dalton Kincaid and on this pick. They got a grade C on this pick.
Yeah.
First round pick. This is a strange pick when you consider they have Dawson Knox and have a few more pressing needs. Kincaid is a good player, but the position doesn't make sense, and they traded up to get him. So they really did want him.
I think they just wanted a 2 tight end set. They want to have that second tight end
Yeah.
that they can trust, and you just never know if your main tight end goes out. You need a couple guys ready to go.
Yeah.
So I feel like this was one of those situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clark Phillips, the third, round 4, pick 11 to the Falcons. He's a corner. And then Braden Daniels, a guard from the Utes, who went in round 4 as well, pick 16 to the Commanders. So
pretty cool.
Hey, and shout out to Darius Nash from Utah Tech, who got invited to a camp with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that or not, but
I didn't.
But that's pretty exciting for him. It's a good way to get locked in as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can go and make an impact. I know he was a great corner last year for the Trailblazers. So happy to see him get looked at by the next level.
And let's not forget about Luke Musgrave. He's a tight end drafted out of Oregon State.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw Luke Musgrave, and
where did he go?
He got Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay.
Yeah,
that's right.
So, anyways, I just saw Luke Musgrave. Yeah. We're tight.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. Just real quick, let's kind of go over some of the picks that really stand out to us. Going over quarterbacks, right? Let's just start there just for fun. So, the quarterback list is kind of as follows. Bryce Young, of course, goes number 1. C.J. Stroud, number 2. Panthers and Texans, they pick up quarterbacks. The Colts picked up their need at quarterback with Anthony Richardson. The Titans pick up Will Levis. Detroit Lions. This one was interesting, and I thought they might draft a quarterback just because the media doesn't love. Why did I just lose his name? Josh. What's his name?
No.
Not Josh. Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Jared Goff. The media doesn't love Jared Goff.
Right.
But they had one of the best offenses in the league last year.
Yeah,
scoring wise.
For sure.
So I don't know. But you know what? Having that backup ready to go in Hendon Hooker, that's a great backup. If I'm Detroit, I'm really happy with that because it's insurance in case Goff does turn into the player he kind of was towards the tail end with the Rams, where he just isn't. He's not the most productive guy.
Yeah.
Jaron Hall to the Vikings. Again, the Vikings are looking for somebody to take over for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I
was kind of hoping the Raiders take him too.
Yeah, that would have been cool. As I mentioned, Aiden O'Connell from Purdue going to the Raiders. Stetson Bennett, he goes out and wins the national championship. Now he's going to the Rams.
Yeah, going to the Rams. I mean, and Stetson Bennett, he's 5'11", 190. They have him on here, overachiever in college. Arm talent isn't brutal and a quality athlete. Had a ridiculously comfy situation at Georgia. He had the best offensive line in the country. Accuracy is solid, but was rarely pressured in college and has some ugly under pressure reps. Older prospect as well.
Yeah. Max Duggan from TCU.
Oh, yeah.
He goes round 7 to the Chargers.
I kind of liked him.
I'm surprised he dropped so
Me
far
too.
for leading TCU as far as they went.
I would have taken.
I was a little surprised he dropped that far.
I would have taken Duggan over O'Connell probably any day.
Yeah, it's a little surprising to me.
But again, I haven't seen film on O'Connell. I need to go take a look at some Purdue tape and kind of see what I'm looking at.
Tell you what, one of these days in the near future, we'll break down these draft picks and we'll kind of go and look at some clips and stuff, and we'll actually do our research. We haven't had the time, if we're being honest.
Last week was so busy.
It's been insane.
The week before that was busy, and the week before that was busy.
Yeah. All right, let's get to a break, wrapping up the show. When we come back, stick around here on the Fan Sports Network.
Did you know that St. George News has a new app? Download the St. George News app today and stay up to date on everything happening in Southern Utah. Get instant notifications on news, weather, sports, and more. Download the app today and get your local news now.
Hey, it's Sheldon Demke. Check out the latest episode of What's on the Menu, a behind-the-scenes tour of local restaurants. We'll see some of their favorite dishes and get an inside look on how these dishes are prepared. Check out this week's episode at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab.
As a local business owner, it's important to get the word out about your business. More people equals more revenue for you. Get your business in front of over 160,000 people in southern Utah each week with St. George News. Contact St. George News today.
Media is everywhere. It's a part of our daily life, our routine, not just for entertainment, but to stay informed. Local media has the biggest impact on your daily life. It's what's around you, what matters. And at Canyon Media, our goal is to deliver the very best in local entertainment, news, and media. From our award-winning radio stations like 99.9 Coney Country to Southern Utah's #1 source for local news, St. George News, we believe in delivering free, fast, and accurate local news, entertainment, and information to all of Southern Utah through our entertaining on-air personalities and music, compelling local shows, and community events like the City of St. George 4th of July celebration and charitable events like Coney Coins for Kids. From our entire team of dedicated designers, videographers, salespeople, digital marketers, writers, and on-air talent, thank you for letting us be a part of your daily life. Canyon Media, here for you.
Check out this week's edition of TGIF on stgeorgenews.com. TGIF is your weekend adventure guide to all the fun and exciting things going on in southern Utah this weekend. Find this week's edition at stgeorgenews.com and click the shows on the menu tab. Have a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's Caden Formaster.
And Mark Musgrave, the voice you know with the Fan Sports Network.
Check out our local sports radio show From the Bleachers live every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Listen to us on the radio on 99.5 or 95.3 FM.
You can also listen through the Fan Sports Network app or watch the show live on the Fan Sports Network YouTube page.
The Fan Sports Network is your home of Utah Tech Trailblazers, high school sports, and the pros.
The Fan Sports Network, Southern Utah's home for local sports.
Welcome back in, everybody. It's From the Bleachers, broadcasting live out of the Findlay Hyundai studio. Caden Formaster and Mark Musgrave.
The voice you know. Hey, Caden, do you feel like you're getting old?
Sometimes, yeah.
If you could stop your aging process, would you?
Absolutely. I don't know if very many people would say no to that. At least, I don't want to get too old yet,
Hey, here's something. Researchers at UC San Diego. Now, normally these researchers are in like Europe, so we don't know how legit they are. But this is from UC San Diego.
Okay.
And they may have figured out how to expand our lifespan by over 80%. You could live to 180.
Maybe
150.
I mean, okay.
So this is it.
Let's hear it out.
So there's two things that make you age. The mitochondria gets weaker.
Mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell.
And our DNA becomes less stable, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's true for yeast cells as well. They basically rewired and tricked them So those two things wouldn't happen at the same time. Instead, they alternate. And they have found that the yeast cells lived 82% longer. They haven't tried it on humans yet, but they feel that they have a way to trick your DNA and your mitochondria cells. And anyways, maybe.
Now, is it expensive?
I don't know. They haven't tried it on humans yet.
Try it on humans first, and then we'll talk.
They say it's a proof of concept for now, but they think the same type of gene therapy will work on
They've done
human
it in
cells
mice, right?
Not according to this story.
Now, there's something that I had heard fairly recently that
I think Tom Brady is actually on this right now.
which makes me think there's a whole show. I'll tell you about it later. Anyways, they did some experiments with mice, and I don't know if it's this or something else, where basically they took aging mice who, they were going blind and stuff, and they did whatever this process is, I don't know, and they just straight up just cured their blindness at the cellular level, not like going in and doing laser surgery like we do nowadays.
Yeah.
They just went and just, again, at the cellular level, they were able to like reverse the aging.
There's some pretty cool research going on.
It's impressive.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Maybe not in my lifetime, but maybe your lifetime might see some interesting things for sure.
Maybe. We very well could.
It's kind of crazy.
It is crazy. Well, I mean, just think about even in your own lifetime what has happened, I
thought there would be, and this is legit. This is really, I really thought there'd be a cure for cancer by now.
I think a lot of people have. And the conspiracy theorists out there say there already is a cure for cancer, but they don't want to release it because
what do you think on that? What?
I don't know.
I can't imagine that anybody with any sense of
humanity,
would hold that back maybe for pharmaceutical
just to go sell prescriptions and chemotherapy and stuff.
I really want to believe that there's no way in the world that would happen, but I really don't know.
But then again, these are the same people that are making penicillin $300 a bottle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Granted,
amazing.
I know that they've passed some legislation recently. I don't know. We're not into politics.
I know.
Anyways, let's talk as we wrap up the show real quick. Stanley Cup playoffs are underway. The first round is just about done. One team left to make it in. It's either going to be the Rangers or the Jersey Devils.
Right.
So that series is tied up at 3 apiece. Whoever moves on will face off against Carolina Hurricanes. Golden Knights were the first team to move on. So the Knights take on Winnipeg, and they get them 4-1 in that series.
We were walking out of Nordstrom Rack yesterday because we went over there for a few minutes, and there was a Golden Knights coming in because he had a big old Golden Knights shirt on. And I said, "Go Knights, go." And he says, "God bless you." So I got a God bless you for saying "Go Knights, go," man.
Yep. I love it. I love it, man. They're going to take on Edmonton. The Oilers beat the Kings. And so it's going to be Vegas against the Oilers. You also have Seattle Kraken.
Oh, I love that name.
They beat the Avalanche, and they're going to take on Dallas, the Stars. I kind of like this. The wild card comes in, and they take on the number 1 team, and they beat them.
Yeah.
They beat the Avalanche, and they move on to the next round to take on the Stars. You have the Panthers and the Maple Leafs, which, hey, hats off to the Maple Leafs for getting it done against Tampa Bay. That's a tough team to beat anytime, let alone in the playoffs.
Yep.
And they knocked them out. I think that's Toronto Maple Leafs' first playoff series win in who knows how long. It's crazy. It's taken them a long time. So that's where they sit. So if Vegas does move on, they would face the winners of Seattle and Dallas out of the West, and then that'd be the Western Finals. And then we're still waiting on that first round between New York and New Jersey.
Boy, it is really good to see the Knights back into the playoffs where they belong.
And winning in the playoffs.
And winning, too. Yes, absolutely. So it's really nice to see them, back in there and get people around here even, including myself, excited for hockey again.
Yeah.
Because, again, I'm a casual fan, but every time the playoffs do roll around and the Knights are in it, I do get that interest level.
I've watched,
and I want to be a bigger fan. I really do.
Of the 5 games that the Golden Knights played against the Jets. I watched at least parts of. I didn't catch all of the games,
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I watched parts of at least like 3 of them, which is a lot more hockey than I normally watch in
Right.
a given moment. But playoff hockey is a lot of fun, and that leads into a whole conversation that we don't have time for. Hockey in Utah? They're pushing for it.
Don't we have hockey in Utah already?
Not NHL.
I know.
We have the Grizzlies, which the Grizzlies following is insane. People love the Utah Grizzlies. They sell really well. They sell a lot of tickets.
We got the Grizz, we got the Bees, we got the Jazz. What's the deal with Utah and the Z's?
In sounding,
What is that
names.
all about?
I don't know. So what would the baseball team if it's a sounding name?
The Bears.
The Bears.
I don't know what would they. I don't know what they'd be.
So before the Grizzlies were the Grizzlies, they were the Golden Eagles. That was.
Oh, that's right. I do remember those days. Yeah.
But would you have the Golden Eagles and the Golden Knights? Right next door to each other. I don't know. So if Salt Lake does get an NHL team, do they go Golden Eagles? Who knows? All right. Thanks for watching, listening. However you found us. Have a good one, everybody.